Hey guys, this is Smithy. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is so very special. It's going to be a quick and a short one. We are going to rank all the palettes that I tried in the month of April, and I just have 4 new eyeshadow palettes that I tried. I did definitely use a lot of my older palettes from my collection too, and you know I always do like 3 palettes, 3 looks in my channel, and that's the main reason why I use that, is just because I definitely want to dip into the older palettes in my collection, just so that we're not forgetting the older palettes. And if you want any inspiration on like certain palettes, do let me know in the comment section below which are the palettes that you are like actually eyeing. And I feel like my views definitely go up on the indie palettes rather than the high-end palettes. But if you want to see something very specific, do let me know in the comment section below. But let's start with the ranking of the 4 eyeshadow palettes that I tried in the month of April. So let's begin. On number 4, we have, now none of the palettes are like any bad formula. It's mainly based on the color story that I would prefer in these palettes. So on number 4, we have the new Sugar Drizzle Cosmetics Bunny Love palette. And this is their Easter special like spring palette. I feel like it's more, I won't even say it's like an eyeshadow palette. It's more like a eyeshadow as well as a face palette all in one. I really love the face powders that were included in it. There's definitely like a pinky, sheeny blush. We also have a matte blush, which is absolutely beautiful. And this highlighter is stunning. I already do have a blush on, but I'm going to take that matte blush and just plop it right there. I've done a dedicated video on this palette and it's so pretty. I definitely dip into some of the other palette for a deeper shade, and that's another thing that is missing in this palette. I feel like this palette is definitely missing a deeper shade in the palette to ground all the look together, because there's definitely a lot of splotch of colors here, but there's nothing to ground it back to normal. And you don't need to ground everything back, but I personally do like a look that has a deeper outer corners, and that's my preference. So that is why this is landing on number 4. On number 3, we have the Beauty Moon Cosmetics Mantra 1 palette. This palette is beautiful. The shimmers are breathtakingly beautiful. They're so shifty, they're so dimensional. Again, this palette is super colorful, and whenever I see like a super colorful palette, I definitely need some depth. And that's the only reason why this is ranking on number 3. Again, I have to rank something somewhere. That's why this is on number 3. But this is a beautiful palette. If you love this color story, I've done like 3 looks with this palette on my channel. My code is SMITHYSONY to save you 10% off if you are interested, especially if you're in the UK. This is a beautiful brand to dip into. The shimmers. My jaw, oh my gosh, help my jaw. This was on the floor because there's so many beautiful shifty shimmers. I would love to see Beauty Moon Cosmetics more dive into like these shimmery, soft, like but elegant but shifty shadows. They definitely do not crease on my eyelid. They also have some satin shadows, which I feel like if you look at the satin shadows, they're all a little bit more on the deeper side, but we don't have a deeper matte to ground it all together. The deepest matte that we have is this blue, and I personally do not like every look to go a little bit more on the blue route. If you like that, you would absolutely love this palette, because this quality is absolutely stunning. I cannot wait to see what they are coming up with in future. I'm very excited about Mantra 1. On number 2, that's the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today. If you guessed it, let me tell you what it is. On number 2, we have the MBA Cosmetics Cursed Moon palette. This is definitely a new to me palette. Actually, all the 4 palettes that I'm going to talk about is all sent to me in PR. And my code with all 4 of them is SMITHYSONY to save you 10%. Now, once that is out of the way, this Cursed Moon palette, it's a small but a mighty palette. I've already done 3 palettes, 3 looks, and I did showcase this palette in that video. I'll link it in the iCards above, but I've also done a few other looks where I've used this shade. I'll pop it on the screen for you guys, where I've plopped this shade in Office, but I've meshed it out with like the brown mattes from like Master Mattes by Makeup by Mario. I've also done this look, which I have recorded, and I'll show it towards the end of the video, so you will get like several different looks with this palette. And this palette is beautiful. I cannot wait to dive more into this palette. I definitely want to use this shade Eerie, which I did use a little bit today, but I want to use that all across my eyelid with a deeper matte underneath. That's going to be my next look with this palette. And I also want to use this purpley blue shade I feel like that's going to be so beautiful. There's so many things that you can do with this palette. The quality is right up there. I really wanted to get the other palettes also just to mix and match with this palette. Obviously, this is the palette that appealed to me the most, so I did choose this Cursed Moon palette. But I also feel like, if especially the palettes that came along with it, the green and the purple palette, they all can go so well with each other, and you can mix and match together with it so beautifully. The best part is, it's because it's magnetic, you can do whatever your heart desires, and this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful palette. Cannot recommend this enough. Especially if blue is your color story, you need this. And last, certainly not the least, on number 1, we have the new Glaminatrix Cosmetics Nearly Natural palette. I love this palette with my whole heart. I have done several looks with this palette, a dedicated video with this palette, as well as a get ready with me where I was getting ready for a wedding, and I've used this palette. It is so beautiful. I've dipped into this palette quite a bit. Like, even for office, this is like my perfect palette, because you have some satiny, some elegant, like very there is no shifty shade, but they're very dimensional shades in this palette, and they're so pretty. This shade Smolder Glaminatrix, I definitely want more shades in this formula, especially if it is a lighter shimmer. I would love it. I feel like if this like formula was there in like some of the champagne shades, or like these shades, it would have made this palette even more better, just because some people would not dip into like a deeper matte shade, but that I want to dip into that deeper matte shade because it's so sparkly. But I feel like if it was a lighter champagne or a lighter gold shade with that baked formula, I would have used that every time I do a look, because that's so pretty. I cannot wait to just use a do a look with just these 4 in the extreme outer column. That's gonna be so beautiful. I love it. And by the way, all the palettes of Glaminatrix Cosmetics are magnetic, so you can definitely shift and mix and match with the other palettes if you have them in the collection. I cannot wait to mix and match this palette and make my own palette with the smaller palettes also they had in their collection. I feel like that's going to be amazing. I cannot recommend this enough. If you are more of a neutral person, this palette is not going to disappoint you. I would highly recommend it. So that is what my ranking was for April. I know it was short and sweet. Now, if you want to see how I achieved this look, then please keep on watching. Okay, let's do another look with the Cursed Moon palette. A lot of people were asking for more looks. So here we go. We are going to start off with a deeper shade, and for that, let's take this shade, which I've not used as yet, this Tortured shade. It's more like a teal shade, I would say, like a tealy blue. So let's do that in the outer corner. I'm going to take it more like halfway through and then into the crease. It's definitely different than this shade. This is more like a royal blue shade. This definitely is more teal. So I'm going to just pack it right there. Slow motion is always the best with these kind of shades, especially if you are like afraid of blue shadows. I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. I just went for my son's soccer game. I'm already tan. It just takes one game for me to get tan. It's so crazy. So there you go. Okay, now I'm taking more of a fluffier brush with this shade Jinxed. It's more like a gray, but with a blue, like a hint of blue in it. So I'm gonna take that in my crease and melt it with that teal shade. I did a very similar look with this shade and the blue, and I'm gonna do the same thing with the teal shade and see how different it is gonna be. And I'm gonna take a very tiny bit of the black, this one, ill-fated, right there in the outer corner, just for that added depth. I'm gonna go back into that teal shade, Tortured, and just pack it right beside it so that we're not losing that shade, and taking it more like in a diagonal way, taking the same shade on my lower lash line, and I'm gonna melt it with this shade Jinxed. Now I'm going to take this shade, Infernal. It's more like a tealy green shade. Last time I did use this shade, so let's do this. Taking that Infernal shade, and I'm going to tap it right there. Look how wet that looks. That's amazing. Definitely complements that teal that we have placed. So that's amazing. You can definitely stop it right there and call it a day by applying liner and mascara. It's going to be very, very close to what I did in the last look. So I am going to take a little bit of that multi-chrome shade. I don't know how it's going to look, but we'll try it out. So let's take that shade Eerie. Definitely picks up so much on the brush. I'm gonna try and apply that. Oh, that's such a beautiful shade. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's definitely picking up very, very scattered on this brush. And this is refer number 28. I feel like picking by hand is the way to go, but I'm also afraid that I will take over the look. That's like with a light layer. I'm going to take a little bit on my finger and see how that goes. Just took a very, very tiny bit. And I'm going to just scatter it across the inner portion. Definitely has like a fiery oranginess. Oh, that's so pretty. I can easily go overboard for sure. Can you see that? It's going to be so pretty on top of like just the matte. I cannot imagine that like on top of a black matte here. It's going to be so, so pretty. Like a fiery orangey red shade. I'll definitely do a look with that too. But that's how the look is looking so far. Let me finish off this eye with some liner and mascara. And that's my final eye look. I really, really love the way how this turned out. This small but mighty palette is so versatile. It definitely is more versatile, and the best part is that it is a magnetic palette, so you can definitely mix and match. I feel like I would have not put in these two shades that are so close to each other. Yes, the tone is different. This is teal, this is blue. But I also feel like if there was one brown in the palette, I feel like blues and browns work so well together, and that would have gone so beautiful with this like bronzy shade. Even like, again, the browns and blues go so well together that it will complement the palette too. So I definitely can see myself like taking one shade off and plopping a brown there. But I love the way how this palette performs on the eyes. It's definitely very sparkly, very blendable, definitely buildable, so I have no complaints there. But that's all for today. If you did like my video, you know what to do. Do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post next. I generally upload 3 videos every single week, every Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.